Hi there, welcome to another episode of Messy Magic. I'm your host, Nadee Guy, and as you can tell already, no doubt, I'm outside again. And as I'm recording this, it is New Year's Eve afternoon, actually, and we're visiting family. I'm just heading over to the beach to sit by myself for a little while, do a little bit of journaling, a little bit of reflection, a bit of planning for next year, all of which I've kind of already done, but I love the magic of New Year's Eve, and I just want to make the most of the energy that I feel on this day and just see if there's anything I need to take away or add. And I wanted to pop in to your queue and just offer you a happy new year. I know by the time you listen to this, it's probably already 2024, which is crazy to say. But if you've been listening to this podcast for a little while, or even if you haven't, and you're listening to this, I just really wanted to offer you a sincere thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening. I know the podcast is a little bit up and down with topics and consistency, and it's a bit all over the place. And so if you've stuck around and listened, I really appreciate it, and just thank you very much. And I hope you had I won't say hope you had a good 2023, because I know there are so many people who had challenges this year. There's been so many challenges in the world. So I hope that the way that you're ending the year feels restorative and nurturing for you, and that you've got some hope in your heart for next year, which I know is not always easy to do. It's certainly not always easy for me, but I think it's something that's so wonderful to strive for, to have that hope and to have plans and always to have dreams that we're working towards. And so I just wanted to offer a little informal wrap up for the podcast for the year, really for me, and just to give you an insight into how I kind of do this time of the year. And it's different every year, but the first thing that I like to do is to think about all the things that have happened during the year, mainly thinking about what I am grateful for and what I'm proud of. And this year, the big things for me are having graduated as a Feminine Embodiment coach from the School of Embodied Arts. That was, it's a real milestone for me to have come through that program, to have learnt so many skills, met so many beautiful people, and now to have a practice both for myself and also for my clients. It's such a wonderful, I just love it. I love feminine embodiment coaching, and I know that my business model is going to keep evolving, and I'm going to bring new things in, and I'm sure my interests will change, but I have this kind of these practices and this knowledge now that I can share and that I can build on. I'm really excited about that, really proud of having achieved that. I also became a teacher on Insight Timer. I published some meditations over there, which is really exciting. We went away on a holiday. My husband and I went to Bali, which was such a privilege, and it was a really good trip. And it's good to be able to say now that we have had an overseas holiday, because the one before that I think was 5 years earlier, and we've always loved to travel, but we haven't done it for a while, so that was really fun. I've continued the podcast. I launched my new website. I launched a newsletter, both of which you'll find at nadeeguy.co. And those things I've found really fun and creative, and I love sending out my weekly newsletter. which is usually a mixture of, well, there's always one or two things that are constant. I always do an oracle card reading for the people on my list to get them through the week. And the process behind that has just been incredible. Like, this is my first ever oracle deck. It's not something I've ever been into, but the number of times that I ask a question and then draw a card and the card directly relates to my question has been incredible. Like, it's been, oh my goodness, there's a wallaby. Oh, that's what happens when you stand still in the bush, I guess. I had to stand still because I knew that the wind was coming up and you wouldn't be able to hear me. I'd turn around and there's a wallaby about 20 metres away, and then as soon as I moved, it darted back into the bush. How beautiful. Anyway, that whole process with the oracle card has been amazing. And then I normally, if there's any new podcasts or blogs, I link to those, and then I typically also share like what's been going on for me lately in life as well, and anything that I've learned or been inspired by that I think would be valuable. I share, and it's a fun newsletter. I started a Substack this year as well, which I really haven't done much with, but I love having it there as a separate kind of creative outlet for when I get the urge. What else have I done? These are just rolling off the top of my head. Like, I'm not reading from anything. I won't bore you waiting. I just paused there because I was joined by a little visitor and my husband, the little visitor being my son. Anyway, we're walking back towards where we are staying because it's starting to sprinkle and I don't want to sit in the rain with my journal and my laptop.
Who are you talking to?
I'm recording my podcast. Do you want to say something?
Hi, guys.
Good job. And then in terms of, well, I'll keep this short. So my plans, I've done gratitude and achievements for last year. Now let's talk briefly about what I'm planning for next year. Oh, it's going to rain. Let's go.
Quick, just like I told you, feet first.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell anyone that trick, because no one knows in the whole wide world to do that. They just do heels.
Just my podcast listeners?
They just do heels. Quick.
Okay.
So do it toes first.
Mm-hmm. We're running back towards the house. Welcome on our crazy trip. Yeah, it's my podcast.
So you're going to tell that to everyone?
No, just what they heard. Anyway, my plans for next year are more of this, actually. More mindful, well, not recording a podcast with my son, but more mindful time with my son where we're just having fun and actually without the phone. Watch the car.
I was watching it. I could hear it.
More time with him, completely immersed in what we're doing. With no distraction. I'm not counting this particular moment in that because I'm recording for you, but you get the idea. My word for next year is deep, and that's one of the examples of how I intend to bring that word to life. That also applies to my other relationships, my focus on work. Honey, out of the rain, darling. We're standing in the rain. Reading, like focused reading, focused work. I really want to get intentional and focused with my work next year because I have lots of projects, and I often feel like none of them get the attention or the focus that they deserve. So depth is definitely going to be involved in my work. And then also next year I'll be talking more about my other work, which is copywriting, which I haven't really talked much, if at all, about on the podcast. But I write copy for sales pages, landing pages, emails, and blogs. And I'm getting much more intentional about the kinds of clients that I'm looking for, and also weaving it into my business in terms of the feminine values, running a feminine style business. And I'll be talking more about that in the podcast and in my content. And speaking of content, I'll be creating more, but more intentionally. And I'm planning on, one of my intentions for this year is less screen time, more visibility. So meaning that if I spend time on social media or Substack or blogs or whatever, that it's less about just being on my screen and more about thinking about how I can be visible, how I can provide stuff that is valuable. And I intend next year as well, 2024, to provide heaps more value, free resources, and like just vibes and energy that people get information from and value from and want to be involved with. So stay tuned for that. This has been one hectic episode. I am going to leave it at that for now, but in the meantime, I hope you've had a wonderful new year. I'll be with you again really soon, and in the meantime, have a magical year.